everyone. Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon. Welcome back from the lunch break for the next session of our symposium today, the International Symposium on Strategy and Transformation Management for Tertiary Education, ISSTM-TED 2024. So we are here today of Life Sciences. Kim is chair of the University Humanitarian Oversight Board and the International Scholarship Committee. She coordinates the activity of the academic regional leads across the institution, and she has been instrumental in establishing TNE programs with partner institutions in Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, China, Netherlands, USA, for study abroads, UG and TPG articulations, dual and joint degrees, and forming partnership with sponsorship bodies in a wide variety of disciplines, including her own discipline of life sciences. So we are very much honored to have here with us today, live from Scotland. So Kim is a guest professor at Taylor's University. She did undergraduate and postgraduate degrees in England and a postdoc in France and the USA before coming to Dundee to establish her own research group in 2005 as a Royal Society University Research Fellow. Kim is an internationally renowned leading scientist in the role and regulation of the Notch signaling pathway, which plays essential roles during vertebrate development and which also underlines many diseases. So thank you so much, Professor Kim, for being with us today. It's such an honor, such a blessing to have you with us. And without further ado, I would like to hand over the floor to our team so that we can listen to her speech and her keynote address. For those of you who are online, please do have your questions in the chat box, either on YouTube or for those of you who are on WebEx, or for our live audience here today. If you have any questions, you can pass them over to me. We'll have the Q&A session after the recorded speech is presented. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone, and greetings from Dundee in sunny Scotland. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak at this international symposium on strategy and transformation management for tertiary education. My name is Professor Kim Dale. I'm a professor of developmental molecular biology, and my role is as the Assistant Vice Principal International at the University of Dundee. I'm delighted to be a partner of UITM in this event and indeed in our ongoing TNE partnership discussions supported by the British Council, DBT and British High Commission based in Kuala Lumpur. Education plays a critical role in shaping our future by driving research and innovation and developing the next generation of leaders. For education to be of high quality, it must be transformative. Transformative education involves teaching and learning geared to motivate and empower happy and healthy learners to take informed decisions and actions at the individual, community, and global level. Our institution has a mission to transform lives locally and globally through the creation, sharing, and application of knowledge. Our strategy relies on 3 pillars: learning and teaching to train the workforce of tomorrow, research with impact to deliver solutions to health and sustainability challenges, and to become major generators of innovation, enterprise, and technology. And all of that is based on a central pillar of social purpose. Education has become more complex in a world characterized by pervasive uncertainty and marked by significant and multifaceted social, political, economic, and technological changes. But change has always been a significant factor in education, but changes in recent years have proven to be more challenging than imagined. Some of these challenges have included the profound effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, the sudden shift to remote learning, the difficult transition back to in-person learning, movements advocating for social and racial justice, a greater societal and institutional focus on equity, diversity, inclusion, reconciliation, and indigenization, geopolitical conflicts, mass loss of biodiversity, escalating concerns about the mental health of students and the need to accommodate a growing demand for flexible learning, the increasing influence of artificial intelligence, and government policy shifts, amongst many other pertinent factors. Moreover, institutions face immense pressure to provide students with a superior education, meet diverse student needs, attract top-tier talent, and release cutting-edge research, as well as making strategic and operational decisions that align with the needs of various stakeholder groups. So tertiary education is at a pivotal point, facing rapid changes and challenges. Effective strategy and transformation management are essential to navigate these changes and ensure that institutions remain competitive and relevant. Strategy in tertiary education involves long-term planning to achieve specific goals, and it includes setting objectives, allocating resources, and determining the best course of action to achieve desired outcomes. My talk today is going to highlight, from a UK perspective, the transformational power that universities and providers of tertiary education can offer to their staff, their students, and to their international partners, as well as their local communities and their countries. I'll approach this question from a national level, an international level, and then from an institutional level. I'll share today the findings of a recent UK report highlighting how universities can undergo transformational change to deliver more in bigger and better ways to those different stakeholder groups. I'll then go on to talk about the power of equitable transnational education partnerships in meeting global challenges and securing global reach in true partnership. I'll also outline the impact of government support in this transformation agenda. And finally, I will end with one aspect of my own institution's journey to transformation in education. Universities are a source of a unique advantage to their country, and that is true both in the UK and in Malaysia. Our universities are among the key agents of change that the UK and indeed Malaysia need in order to transform and thrive over the next 10 years. They're critical to economic growth. In the UK, the universities contribute over £250 billion per annum to the UK economy and open doors to opportunity for an increasingly wide range of people and places. Properly supported, they have the track record and potential to create and share knowledge, stimulate creativity, and offer lifelong opportunities for future generations. The most effective forms of transformational change involve retaining what is good and having the courage to reinvent and refresh where necessary. At their best, universities function in a culture of inquiry and debate that pursues the common good while championing innovative forms of delivery alongside tested models. The pace of change in the past decade, as I've outlined, brings both tremendous challenges but also manifest opportunities. Universities have a responsibility to prioritise engagement with the key drivers of our era, of which climate change, artificial intelligence, and bioscience are at the forefront. Universities are also fundamentally about people. They create transformative opportunities and are diverse communities of all ages and backgrounds, from freshers in their first undergraduate years all the way through to world-leading professors. And education is increasingly a lifelong experience, available to a wider range of individuals than ever before, with the potential to be sustained across one person's lifetime by many different sources, including institutions, workplaces, and online delivery. The skills and knowledge that learners require are also changing, and our universities must change too. We have a duty to champion and defend our universities, but also a responsibility to be honest and unafraid to deal with those things that can be better, where we have the means to achieve that. And in a world where current success is no guarantee for the future, and where other higher education and research systems are leaping ahead, we need to show that we can revitalise ourselves for the remainder of the current century. In the UK, we stand at an important landmark in the history of UK universities, with a new government at the helm. So there's now a new clear opportunity as institutions and with government to ensure higher education is able to deliver for the nation into the 2030s. The time is ripe for a stock change and a creation of a blueprint for the future of UK universities, and today I'm delighted to share with you the very recent launch, just last month, of exactly that, a blueprint for the future of UK universities. I will share with you the findings of the report and the recommendations and opportunities it shares, in the hope that will be of interest and offer inspiration to friends and colleagues in UiTM and universities across Malaysia that are also striving to develop strategies for sustainable growth. The report was written by Universities UK, which is a charitable organisation that are the collective voice of 141 UK universities, and they work with the government and higher education sector to champion UK universities. This year, UUK have worked with 10 commissioners to write this comprehensive report to serve as a blueprint for change, making the case for a reset in the way universities serve our society and country over the next decade. The chapters of the blueprint characterise what we already do in respect of education, research and knowledge exchange, and examine what works and what should change and what we need from government to achieve still more. The report sets out a bold package of reform to stabilise, mobilise and maximise the contribution of UK universities to economic growth and widening opportunity for all. It has a single aim: to create a university sector that is better in 10 years' time than it is today. So for those reasons, I feel at this conference, the findings and recommendations and actions set out in the report are worth sharing. So each chapter offers recommendations to achieve 5 big shifts, and these are to expand opportunity for access to education much more widely, to improve collaboration across the entire tertiary sector, schools, colleges and universities, to generate stronger local growth for universities with the surrounding community, to secure future research strength in the institutions, and to establish a new global strategy for UK universities. These 5 shifts will indeed be truly transformative for UK tertiary education. So if I take each of one of those in turn. Expanding opportunity for access to education needs a big shift. So 49% of school leavers in England access higher education at level 4 and above by the age of 25. We'd like to expand that. And so the government and universities working together will aim to expand opportunity by increasing participation in tertiary education by those from the least advantaged backgrounds and neighbourhoods, with a target for England of 70% of the population at age 25 having studied at level 4 or above by 2040. We also need a more responsive and collaborative tertiary education, improved collaboration across schools, colleges and universities to develop flexibility and responsiveness of tertiary education, and our lifelong learning entitlement will create those opportunities, providing funding to help support access for students to gain skills and qualifications at the time that is right for them. The third great shift will be to generate stronger local growth. So the shift here is to form an ambitious and evidence-based partnership between universities businesses, local, regional and national governments. Universities need to be critical partners in growth plans of their immediate communities and respond to current and future skills of local employers. We also need much better ways to record, report on and follow up on the incredible work that is being done in this space. And this report takes a step in that direction by reporting that in the UK since 2019 there have been nearly 600,000 interactions between universities, businesses and non-commercial partners, with more than 20,000 active spin-outs, startups and social enterprises emerging from UK universities. And these are often supported through university incubation spaces or innovation centres and science parks, of which there are more than 100 located in universities across the UK, and we want to build on that going forward. So the UK is at an inflection point in our ambition to be genuinely world leading in research and innovation. We can no longer take UK universities' research and development activities for granted. Universities face intensifying financial pressure and rapidly increasing global competition, and the current system relies on a disproportionate and growing cross-subsidy from tuition fees to make research viable. The stop-start nature of government funding for research creates abrupt breaks in projects, and that prevents the development of a critical mass of infrastructure and expertise and disincentivises research across disciplines and collaboration with industry. For the UK to retain its international competitiveness and deliver on the government's economic growth ambitions, it requires a stable and sustainable approach to R&D. And these are just some of the figures showing the benefits to be had through this investment. And again, a nod there to the fantastic number of spin-outs and startups that have come from universities in the last few years. So the fifth, and these university spin-outs have been really successful in actually raising finance, with the value of funding rising from 520 million in 2014 to 2.7 billion in 2021. There has been a recent decline in recent years, reflecting our universities. 60% already of our research output involves international collaboration, and we want to extend the global reach, reputation and impact of our institutions. So for this, internationalisations in universities encompasses a wide range of activities and benefits, including collaboration in research, hosting international students and delivering programmes overseas through transnational education. We need to harness all of these elements of global reach to create opportunity, foster prosperity and develop knowledge, both for the UK and our international partners. We're actually incredibly fortunate to work with the British Council, which is the United Kingdom's international organisation for cultural relations and educational opportunities. And they work in partnership with the UK government in the Department of Business and Trade and the Department for Education to promote overseas partnerships in education, research and knowledge exchange. And this is an incredibly strong and powerful British Council and British HighCom unit that we have in Kuala Lumpur, which we're very grateful for, as they've been an invaluable asset to the scoping and securing of overseas partnerships between universities in the UK and Malaysia. But there is so much more that we can do here together in partnership to leverage our respective skills. I would now like to switch to an area of transformational education that I feel passionately about, and that is transnational education. Transnational education is growing rapidly, facilitated by an increasingly open environment for partnership between institutions. National governments recognise the benefits of TNE, resulting in more liberal and enabling regulatory environments. The UK and Malaysia are two of the most active partnership players and considered world leaders in this area. TNE has the potential to contribute actively to and support progress towards all 17 of the SDGs. Given the global nature of many challenges and the need to ensure local knowledge is taken into account when developing interventions, TNE can be a really effective way of bringing in this global knowledge. This slide outlines some of the progressive potential of transnational education. It can also be a really effective way of developing capacity within countries, as it enables students who could not afford high international fees to study in their own country. TNE can support the reduction of brain drain. It was noted that recent research indicated as many as 85% of Indian students who study abroad do not return to India. But there is, however, a significant challenge in finding models that are financially sustainable, scalable, and deliver value equitably for all partners. So this slide outlines the 8 common delivery models for TNE that range from franchise and validation to tripartite agreements, study hubs, articulation agreements, dual and double awards, and joint awards, joint owned or wholly owned international branch campuses. And the UK higher education transnational education provision is a really important part of institutions' international activity. The scale of TNE grew by 9.3% in 21-22, with 558,000 students studying for a UK degree outside of the UK. This slide just outlines many more advantages that can come from TNE that range from studying in a home country, opportunities for multi-level engagement, economic and reputational value to both partners, upskilling of staff and students, knowledge exchange, research and development opportunities, and increased internationalization for both partners. It's really important, though, to ensure that these TNE partnerships are equitable. And what I mean by that is that they are about balance and compromise. And this slide lists some of the really important elements that are required in order to ensure equitable TNE partnerships. They need to be multifaceted and multi-layered and involve co-development of joint programs. They require to be built to be long-lasting, and for that we require time, trust, and an appetite for risk on both sides. We need to be considerate of the different stakeholders and their needs. And in equitable partnerships, stakeholders' needs may change at different stages, and one partner may benefit more than the other at different intervals during the duration of the partnership. They need to involve programs with partners that drive social purpose and drive equity and inclusion for all staff and students. Equitable partnerships need to have shared intellectual ambition with the partner, which enables the perfect environment to craft and explore new ideas that are multi-layered and multidisciplinary, with a deeper focus on education, research, and community. They need to bridge the widening demand gap, build capacity and training for staff, actively participate in knowledge sharing and co-creation. And again, as I said before, they need to support students who may not have the financial means to travel overseas. This is an exciting time, an exciting space, and really a lot more to be done here for transformative education. Closed systems that only look inward quickly run out of ideas. Creativity crumbles, innovation dies, and the same thoughts spin round and collapse in on themselves. But through our international partners, through TNE, we can reach out across the world and bring a freshness of thought that breathes new life into our universities and our societies. So I now want to switch to consider an essential stakeholder group that's crucial in driving any successful transformational agenda in the tertiary and HE sector, and that is the government voice, particularly in the international arena. So as I mentioned, we are absolutely delighted that we have a new government that is so supportive of growing our international partnerships through education, research and knowledge exchange. Bridget Phillipson, our new Secretary of State for Education, mentioned in her speech in July 24 that we have a mission-led government that's determined to create a new era of opportunity and economic growth and a fairer society for everybody, where excellence is a given, not just something that the most fortunate gets to enjoy. So under this new government, education is once again at the forefront of national life. Under this government, opportunity is for everyone, and our international partnerships are central to this drive to spread opportunity far and wide. International students are very welcome in the UK, and this government values their contribution to our universities, our communities, and indeed our country, and we're committed to do everything we can to help them succeed. And that's why we offer the opportunity to remain in the UK on a graduate visa for 2 years after their studies end, to work, live and contribute. The UK just would not be the same without them. And we are an open global Britain that welcomes new ideas and that looks outward in optimism, not inward in exclusion. We want genuine partnerships with countries across the world in higher education and beyond, because education puts us on the path to freedom, both intellectual, economic, social and cultural freedom. So the answer really is to work in partnership. For us to deliver on the forthcoming government industrial strategy and the government missions, we absolutely need to boost skills and unlock the economic growth in all parts of the United Kingdom. And so the government have launched a new initiative in July this year, when the Prime Minister launched Skills England to drive forward our plans to tackle the skills shortages that are holding our economy back. So this new organisation, Skills England, is going to unify the skills gap in the tertiary sector. It'll bring together employers, trade unions, universities and other training providers to make sure that opportunities are there for everyone to get on in life. So this is key to that education transformation agenda, and universities need to play a really key part. The first mission of our government is to grow the economy, and for that we need a skills system that breaks down barriers to opportunity and delivers for our businesses. So we need a much more widespread and data-driven understanding of the skills needed to deliver regional and national priorities. And where skills gaps are identified, we need the system to support rapid development and delivery of high quality training opportunities, which employers and learners understand and can access. And Skills England is going to help us do that. They will convene employers, education providers, and national government to develop a single picture of national skills need and identify the priority areas for skills training. So universities have a key part to play in this. And our Scottish and UK labour force data is clear that the biggest growth in skills needs will be at graduate level, because 88% of new jobs created in 2035 will be at graduate level, and the UK is facing the need of 11 million more graduates by 2035 to meet the need of a diverse range of sectors and industries, and we can deliver on that through universities and through our international partnerships. Our university sector in the UK and Malaysia is one of the country's greatest enablers. They're vital engines of economic growth and opportunity for everybody through their lives. Higher education has a global status and a global impact. So for the final part of my talk, I want to talk about how at an individual institutional level, when universities ask the question of how to transform internally, there are a number of ways that one can do that. So at institutional level, it might be through digital transformation, integrating technology to support teaching, learning and administration. It might be through curriculum development, updating curricula to reflect current trends and future needs. Or it might be through research and innovation, encouraging interdisciplinary research and partnerships with industry. So I'm going to focus for the last part of my talk on this latter point, describing the journey of my own institution. We have thrown everything into transformation in R&D in the context of benefiting staff, students, and the community. And in order to do this, strong leadership is essential to drive that transformation agenda. And we were blessed by the recent arrival of our new Vice-Chancellor, whose vision is to grow and globalise. So we're transitioning from a Scottish university with rapidly growing internationalisation agenda to a genuinely global institution with a Scottish home base. We're developing triple intensity regional strategies for South Asia, Africa, Middle East, East Asia, and of course, Southeast Asia through our partnerships. We have over 320 active international collaborations covering all sorts of different partnerships, exchanges, joint degrees, institutional partnerships, capacity building, etc. And we build those really strong relationships and partnerships across the world with institutions, which helps achieve the university's core purpose to transform lives both locally and globally. So many of our researchers are involved in these major global collaborations, and there's one particular area of intense innovation at our institution. So we have been the top UK university in the UK for life sciences research for the last 14 years. We attract many international collaborations, both academic and industrial, through the work of our leading academics, focusing particularly in the areas of drug discovery and medical technology. We have multiple collaborations with global pharmaceutical companies, as well as with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Medicine for Malaria, the Wellcome Trust, and the World Health Organization. We focus on finding drug targets and taking them through clinical trials. And we do that in collaboration with industry in a variety of different disease conditions and through developing spin-out companies. In fact, we waited until it moved to Oxford, and its value on the Nasdaq post-launch was more than 3 billion. We work hard to develop a pipeline of invested spin-outs from our basic research in our life science and medical labs. We also develop a strong pipeline of companies in development, and this is a huge amount of work. But our current focus is also on developing a life sciences innovation district to support world-leading spin-out companies and allowing them to incubate and grow here in Dundee. What this allows us to do is to build in headroom to deliver on our social purpose, for example, through humanitarian scholarships. So we have over 20 humanitarian scholars studying with us at the university. These are students who were barred or unable to access education in the war-torn countries from which they arrive. The most recent cohort includes a significant number of Afghan women who are debarred from study in their own education. And so our investment and headroom built through spin-out companies and the life science commercialization pipeline allows us to give back through the gift of education. And I believe this area of spin-out success is untapped in universities globally and needs to have focus and transformational change. Universities and capital investors are calling out for government support to support a stronger ecosystem for the university spin-out sector. It's been noted that a single £1 trillion company would transform the UK's economy and productivity, and that company is likely to first emerge from one of the top universities' life science and deep tech ecosystems. This is an area of true growth transformation and one I really look forward to for universities across the globe, because it provides an environment for our students and learners of skills learning, developing business acumen and entrepreneurship for both students and staff. So today, in conclusion, we've discussed the importance of strategy and transformation management in tertiary education. We've explored strategic planning and practical applications. We need an ongoing strategy and transformation efforts, as these are crucial in shaping the educational and research landscape. I truly believe that the future of tertiary education depends on our ability to adapt and innovate, and to do that in partnership with universities, schools and colleges, government and international partners. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much to Professor Kim Dale for the sharing. Very insightful. It's nice to hear the changes that have been brought by the new blueprint for UK universities. So I will open the floor. We have viewers on our YouTube channel. We also have viewers on our WebEx. For those in the YouTube channel, you can put your questions down in the chat box. But right now, Professor Dale, we have a question on the WebEx. What are the future job skills that we have to be prepared for in relation to your speech earlier?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for that very good question. And I think, none of us can answer that fully and completely at this moment in time. But I think that what we need to do in order to be able to address what is a really pertinent question is to have an ongoing discussion between universities, between employers in the local communities and with governments, in order to basically allow an environment in tertiary education of colleges and universities to develop skills needs that meet the employer's requirements. So to know what the future job skills, I think one would need a crystal ball. But I think what we are able to do is to have a conversation with employers such that universities and schools are no longer relying on delivery of material and content that has been the same for the last 10 years, but really to have innovation and to have that conversation, bringing in employers to that conversation, perhaps bringing them into content delivery as well, providing masterclasses, having a discussion, having an ongoing conversation in order that we are able to adapt and innovate.
Thank you so much for answering that. We have another question from our live audience who's in the room with us right now. What are the criteria to encourage strategic partnerships between universities in Southeast Asia and the United Kingdom?
Again, a wonderful question, and one that's really been at the heart of the work that I've been doing for the last 10 years. And I have to say that, the partnership between Malaysia and the UK has been one that's been incredibly successful and innovative and creative. So my own institution, we have multiple partnerships of various models, ranging from study abroad, exchange, articulation, dual degrees, joint degrees, staff mobility. And I think that's the key of true partnership, is really to find an institution whose ambitions and philosophy around pedagogy match your own, and in which true champions of innovation have conversations to develop models that meet the needs of all the different student stakeholder groups. There may be students that wish to study partly in Malaysia and study partly in the UK, but there may be students for which that's not financially a possibility. So what are the other opportunities in which one can develop a partnership, a joint degree, which doesn't rely on travel necessarily, or that has short study sessions or summer schools or online delivery, flying faculty. So I think, in answer to the question, the strategic initiatives around developing truly successful partnerships rely on discussions that firstly identify what are the needs of the students at the heart of the conversations, and how can we develop models that fulfill those needs to all the different student types, student age groups as well, because we have many more mature learners as well that perhaps have dependency responsibilities. And again, that they should still have access to education in these partnerships. And I think it's around really making sure we're opening our eyes and opening access to all of those student groups.
Okay, thank you so much. We have another question. Based on your slides that you shared earlier, there is a lot of initiatives that currently the universities there are taking, but there was one slide where you mentioned that for every £1 invested or something like that, UK gets £10 back. I was just wondering, how is that measured? Like, what was your criteria on measuring and getting that number?
So that will be many different ways in which there is recovery, I guess, to the economy. That might be through, engagement of students that then graduate from research initiatives that perhaps develop their own spin-out companies that then injects money back into the local economy and the global economy. It may be through commercializing your working with pharmaceuticals and then commercializing UK Blueprint was really a conversation between universities and the government to ensure that the government realizes the value and the precious nature of universities in creating an environment to innovate and develop and grow the economy, and that we should be doing that in partnership.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. I'm wondering if anyone else in the audience has any other questions. Let's see. Dr. CT, hang on. The one in the WebEx? Yeah, that one is answered, yeah. So I think we answered the questions that are in the WebEx. Let me just check for the one in YouTube or from our live audience if there's anything else. Yeah, I think those are the questions that we have. Probably because it was a pre-recorded video. Oh, hang on, sorry.
The questions that we have.
Professor Nakyudin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I have one question, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, Prof. Adele. Nice to meet you. Yeah. Okay, just one question, simple. Thank you for presentation. What would be the challenge that are common for university to go global?
Excellent question and lovely to see you. Thank you so much for inviting me again to join the conference. So the challenges for universities to go global, I think to not be inhibited by boundaries that we put in place ourselves, right? To really be creative and innovative and to find the partner institutions. I really think that true globalization relies on finding partnership institutions that are at the same point in their journey in wanting to expand, create, and grow. And I think that even within that, one needs to have a champion in each of the institutions that really drives that agenda forward. And we really want to be working to meet the needs of not only the students, but also staff mobility, capacity building, and research. And so for me, true partnership and globalization relies on, of course, the delivery of innovative education, but also the opportunity then to develop research collaborations, sharing of best knowledge, capacity building for staff, and knowledge exchange. And I think that those are the discussions that Dundee is super excited to be having at the moment with UITM, and really looking forward that perhaps in the future we'll be able to present our story of partnership as a fantastic case study.
Brilliant. Thank you, Prof. Del.
Thank you. Thank you so much also to Professor Nakyudin for his question. I think we are close to the end of this session. Probably if I can ask Professor Kim, Dale, if you have any closing remarks that you would like to share before we end the session for today?
Sorry. Yes, absolutely. I guess I want to say a huge thank you to UITM for inviting me, but also to put on an event like this, because I think, it's by sharing with one another our thoughts, our ideas, that really we can grow and globalize better. And I think that, the future in succeeding is absolutely to collaborate and to learn from one another and to develop partnerships that are truly win-win for both sides, but have the students at the heart of those delivery models. So I really look forward to greater and bigger partnership between the UK and Malaysia. We've got a fantastic history behind us. Let's develop more in the future in the next 20 to 30 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We would be delighted to also continue the partnership. So with that, thank you. And we are at the end of the keynote session. We will continue in 10 minutes with the parallel sessions for the group presentations as part of the symposium. Those who are presenting in the room 1, you can maintain your presence in the WebEx, and for those of you who are presenting in the second room, you can move on to the link to the second room, which is available on our website. Thank you also to those who are viewing on YouTube. Pleasure to have you with us here. We'll take a short 10-minute break, and then we will resume with the presentations.